TV.
All right, we live, guys. We are live. We had an interesting weekend of college football. We're gonna get into it, man. I got some real legends in the studio with me tonight. I got Super Bowl champion, Big Ten champion, state champion,
God, dog, man. I gotta
Harry
follow this.
Davis, University. Hey, while we on this, before I'm gonna come back to you in a second on what I'm about to say to you. You know what I'm about to say too.
I don't know.
And then I got my guy Smoke Dixon with me, SEC champion, right? CFL champion, Grey Cup champion, NFL player, former GM, Big Ten director of recruiting, SEC. One of his former schools had a really big win um, this past weekend, Vanderbilt over Alabama. We'll touch on that in a little bit. Kerry, before I get too into this other thing, the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
They knocked Pittsburgh yesterday.
Hey,
We ain't gonna
they
spend a lot
did.
of, we're not gonna spend a lot of time on it. I'm not, but just so I did not intentionally have you on tonight.
You might have. It's all good. I sit up straight for that one. Yeah, it was a good win by Dallas, man. Dak throwing a touchdown, end of the game. We just couldn't get to the quarterback. We made a play on the goal line. Unfortunately, the ball bounced right back into Dak's hands. And, defense played solid, man. They got after the ball. They created a couple of turnovers. You got to score a couple more points. And hopefully, if you get a chance, knock that ball down at that goal line. We don't have to worry about nothing. But Dallas played a good game, man, and fought through all of the injuries they got, and they were able to come out with the dub. So to do that in Pittsburgh on a Sunday night, trust me, that's a tough task. It is not easy. So you got to tip your cap to them.
Man, Kerry, for me, can you for one time can you say how about them Cowboys?
Nah, I won't be able to say
You
that.
ain't gonna do that.
I won't be able to.
How about them Cowboys?
It's like asking me to say something about Mizzou. It's similar.
Well, speaking of Mizzou, let's get into it. Smoke. I'm gonna start with you. College football season, and it's been pandemonium. Mizzou was a favorite going into Texas A&M. Texas A&M, they got with them guys. They were more physical on both sides of the line. Smoke, what was your take on the game from the Mizzou Texas A&M game?
Well, Reed, we've been saying this for a long time. At some point, college football teams got to understand you can't play the game going backwards. Mizzou had costly penalties. Luther Burden for 80 got called back because something that you can control. Keep your hands inside or don't hold. Whenever you have a team that lacks discipline and consistent play, you're not going to win the games that you're supposed to win. And you might get upset by a team that's playing a more disciplined, organized, and a more detailed way of playing football. And when you're not getting your best players, and I'm talking about your best player and one of the best players in the country, Luther Burden, the ball, at minimum 15 targets, 10 to 15 touches a game, yeah, you're going to come up with games like that you're supposed to win. But if your best player is not playing the best during conference play, yeah, you're going to come up short all the time.
Gary, when you look at what's going on, like when staying on the Mizzou Texas A&M game, are you seeing is it a talent difference? Is it not having a similar team that you had a year ago?
Yeah, anytime they had a really good team last year, and you never bring back the same team, right? You can bring back a lot of the same players, but you're going to have kids graduate. You're going to have kids going through the transfer portal. You're going to bring kids in via transfer portal and high school recruiting. So your team is never the exact same. I agree with you. I thought up front, Mizzou got bullied a little bit, and that's the problem. I mean, people always, we coached high school ball, right, Reed? And I would always, people would come to me and say, I got a player for you. I got a kid for you. Oh, cool. What position you play? Oh, man, he a receiver. Yeah, I don't care. Like, that's cool. If he's 6'4", 300 pounds, yeah, let's talk. Because that's what matters. Playing up front, D-line, O-line. I thought Nick Scrouton he's a very talented player for Texas A&M. And was able to make some things happen both in the run game and in the pass game, getting to the quarterback. And so, Mizzou just, in my opinion, the penalties killed them. Like if you were to talk, I'm in St. Louis. If you were to talk to a lot of St. Louis, Missouri fans, they gonna say, "Oh, the referees." But a lot of those penalties were your own self-inflicted wounds. Like you said, you get a 75-yard touchdown call back because you're holding. Things of that nature. It's the simple things, the mistakes that you make that prevents you from winning games. And in that environment, I don't know if y'all ever been to a game at Texas A&M. It is one of the best environments I have ever been to for a college football game. They got the 12th man. They go crazy down there. It is exciting. It's SEC football. So, Mizzou went in there and got thumped. Like, they didn't just lose, man. They got thumped from start to finish. And that's not what you expected from that Missouri football team. Don't shake your head like that. They got thumped. You know it and I know it. And that's not what they were supposed to do when they went down there.
I had already told you they were going to beat Alabama this year, and Kerry Davis is, even though he's from St. Louis, he is the number one Mizzou hater because he went to the Fighting Illini and he betrayed his home state, Smoke, and did not choose the Missouri Tigers. He went against the city, the state. He went against his high school coaches.
No, he didn't.
He went against the entire community, right? And he picked even though the University of Missouri and Larry Smith and Coach Moeller did such a great job recruiting him. I was there, I saw it. He did choose to go play in the Big Ten. Well, Mizzou was in the Big 12 at that time. Yeah, Big 12.
Big 8, Big 12.
Big 8, yeah, it was doing that. So
you gotta get out your feelings on that, Reed. If the man don't do what you want him to do, that don't mean that he made a bad decision.
Let him know.
Listen, Reed, y'all are still fighting a good fight over there in Missouri, and you guys can't get it right even with good players. So, what's the next move?
Well, I think that when you look at the team, I think Kerry said something in the beginning. You had a good team last year, but you don't necessarily carry the same team with you. What they're missing is what Cody Schrader provided, and Cody Schrader was a guy in the run game who allowed you to control the tempo. He allowed you to play possession for possession football. When you did get leads, he allowed you to close games out. And so they have some quality backs there, but Cody was special.
Not him.
Yeah,
I tell people to this day, that's one of the best running backs I've seen because this young man did not come out of the game. Mm-hmm. Carl Reed, I've been playing football, watching football, been around football, coaching football. This young man played about 80 snaps against Tennessee, I believe. I think it was Tennessee.
Yeah.
He caught passes out of the backfield. He ran the ball. He pass blocked. The young man did not step off of the field. That is abnormal. Those things don't happen, especially at that position. You break a 30-yard run, you go into the sideline, get you some water, take 2 plays off, then you come back in. This young man was pass pro, catching passes, running the football. He was the one that made that offense go for me, in my opinion, last year. He allowed you to get Luther in all of his different variety of spots and made life easier for Brady Cook. I know Noel and those guys have done a good job to this point, but they are not Cody Schrader. And to me, that's part of the problem that Mizzou has. And that was one of the things going into the season. I'm like, you can think you're going to replace this young man. You don't replace a person that does not come out of the game. Like, he literally just played every snap until they took the starters out. And I'm like, hey, he built different. I love the game. I ain't got that in me. Coach, I done caught a couple passes. I done ran it. Hey, let me get a couple plays. Yeah, I'm not even tapping. I'm just going. So you don't even need to see me tap. I'm on my way. But yeah,
Kerry, you also provided toughness.
Yes.
And I think people always look at toughness and saying, who's going to go over there and fight? No, it's what you just said. I just carried the ball 5 times, and now you're going to ask me to step up in there and take on that Mike linebacker, and I'm going to bust it out just so Brady Cook can stay back there and get the ball off to Luther Burden.
Yeah.
And to me, when you have toughness, you have the ability to be disciplined. And when you have penalties, you lose. That's a lack of discipline. And you show me teams that go backwards. If it's 1st and 20, 1st and 15, if you get an explosive play and you come back, that's drive killers. Those are momentum killers. And when you have those plays in any type of game, or you have that on your team over the season, you're going to lose more games than you're going to win. A lot of these college teams aren't good enough. A lot of teams aren't good enough to flat out come out there and beat you.
Right.
More teams beat themselves by having lack of focus and penalties and a desire to be great by the small details that factor into into winning. And I think you're seeing that in a large scale in college football, and that's what a lot of those upsets were last week. It wasn't because you were just flat out better than the team. You lost games because of your attention to detail.
You know, man. So Saturday, let me say Wednesday, my son called me and he asked me for tickets. He wanted to go see Bama play Vandy, right? And so I called to get him the tickets. Him and my wife went up to the game, and they asked me if I was going to go. I didn't really want to go. I was going to stay home and watch, some college football, and then, check out Texas A&M and what they had going on with Missouri. And so I'm like, I'm going to beat Vandy 42-40. It's not even going to be an interesting game. And then you know how Smoke played at Bama, Kerry. So you know when you're watching a game and it's close, especially at half, and you like at some point Bama gonna take control of the game, or they're gonna make the play that you got to make and get out of here with a close one. And Diego from Vandy kept making those plays. Every time you thought that Bama was gonna make the play, right? It ended up being Vandy that made the play. And Smoke, what were you thinking? You were actually at the game in the stadium. What were you thinking as that game was going on, Smoke?
Reed, I also worked at Vandy too. So I told you off rip, this is going to be tough because Clark Lee is one of the most disciplined and attention to detail defensive coaches. And the way that Vandy's offense is with Tim Beck, it's unconventional. It forces undisciplined teams to play with gap integrity, and your eyes have to be disciplined. You go back to Bama from the first game to the game against Georgia. That's their biggest issue. Penalties and poor eye discipline in the secondary. You purposely didn't call me this last week to ask me what my thoughts were, because I told you I was going to pull up to the game, and I'm going to give you, and I said I'm going to give you my thoughts about this team after I see him live. After the first possession, I told my wife, I said, listen, I want to see how they're playing this wing T and triple option. If they take their Mike linebacker and ask their Mike linebacker to play the pitch, yeah, this thing's going to be bad. Okay? The second I saw that, I looked over the stage. I said, Stage, listen, it's going to be a long day. This is embarrassing for Alabama, because you can't sit there at minimum 96 hours in the week and come out there in a game plan that's subpar. And once you figure out that it's not going in the direction that you want to, you have quality coaches, or I thought they were quality coaches, on the Bama side now to have in-game adjustments. There's not one in-game adjustment that I saw from the way that you're playing.
I think that what I saw.
And Carl, can I get one more thing off?
Yeah, go ahead.
This wasn't a lucky win by Vandy. Vandy manhandled and outcoached Bama to a T. That game should not have been a 5-point game. Vandy should have won by at least 14 or 20 points.
But the triple option is hard to stop.
No, it's not.
It's hard to stop. Triple option.
You gotta be disciplined.
You gotta be disciplined, Carl.
You gotta know who dive, quarterback, pitch, and know your responsibilities.
That's it.
If only it was that easy.
Your job.
Hear me out, Carl. Carl, hear me out. It would take me maybe an hour, to game plan for that for Vandy. I'm gonna give you one. I'm gonna play bare front with 2 coverages. Either I'm gonna go 3 or I'm gonna go man. Okay? All I'm gonna do is cover up 5, 3, 0, 3, 5 across the board. You can't do anything because I got an overhang sitting right there. You ain't reading anybody. My 3 technique is sitting in the B gap. I'm gonna take my nose and play him on one side. I'm gonna ask my Mike linebacker to play on the front side of it, and I'm gonna have my overhang be able to play the pitch. There's not an option team that wants to run into that. The only answer that they have now is gonna go tackle over. Cool. When you get tackled over, I'm gonna knock the front. I'm gonna man up with my DBs at Alabama and ask you and Diego to throw the ball to beat me. Do you want to do that? No. So if you go out there and you give them a 3 and a shade, That's what the option teams want. They're like, okay, cool. I got the guy right there. I'm gonna read the 3 technique, and you're gonna ask your Mike linebacker to bowl around trash to get to quarterback and pitch. It don't happen like that. I coached against the option for 5 years.
That's a long run.
I only ran one defense, bro. It's
So
not hard. It's the easiest thing to stop wing T and option.
All you high school coaches that are listening to Smoke right now on this, don't get discouraged, right? Don't get discouraged. He makes it sound so easy. It's not that easy.
Okay, let me tell you something,
the option in the wing T if you want to win games at the high school football level.
Go back and you watch the Citadel versus Georgia Southern in 2011, 12, 13. Go see what happened. And then you call up anyone that ran the option. Go and watch the Citadel versus Wofford. And then you ask Kevin Steele, that was at Clemson, how you guys started busting up Paul Johnson? And they'll give you the answer. It's not hard. Anybody tell you
they busted up Paul Johnson a couple of times. They had a lot better players than Georgia Tech.
They had better players. I went up there in Clemson. How about that?
Listen.
It's not that hard, Carl. You're just saying it because you're a wing T guy and you think if wing T follow the guard and the guard's going to take it to every play. If the guard goes opposite of you, it's a waggle pass. Ooh.
Yeah. That's what I said. 90% of the time, you follow the guard. It's discipline.
It'll take you.
It's being disciplined.
That's it. And Bama's
the problem is most players aren't disciplined enough to follow their keys the entire game.
Yes.
You might do it for 20 plays, you might do it for 30 plays, but that 31st play, he out the gate.
88 out the gate.
Discipline doing what you needed to do, what you were taught to do.
What to do.
It's about discipline.
They don't even block you. On a triple option, they don't block you. They're not going to block the end. They're going to veer up, and they're going to read you. If you sit there, they give. But if you have a 3 technique sitting right there in the B gap, they can't give it, dude. They don't have a read key because your 5 technique is sitting right there for the quarterback to run in your lap. They can't get up to the Mike line. They can't get up to the Mike linebacker because they can't jump through the 5 technique. And your Mike linebacker is scraping over the top for the pitch, and you have a guy in the overhang. It's not hard. It's easy.
I wish I could put a camera in the meeting room of all the coaches that sat around before they played me, talking like how y'all talking right now. Right before we ran for 650 yards, right?
So I
bet you if you put a camera in there post game, they would talk about how undisciplined their linebackers were.
and Reed, when you had better players, if you have better players running the option, it don't matter. But most of the time, they don't have better players. That's the only reason why they can go to that, because they have to slow it down and hope that your real good player is undisciplined. Say, I got to go get this running back and take off running. Full pull, pitch, out the gate, go. That's it. Diego's 5'9", and he was beating Bama. Like, come on, bro. Tough guy, love him.
Don't hate on Diego. Them businesses in Nashville better be socking into his pocket like the stock market.
Hey, Kerry, I'm gonna add you a football guy, and I know that you played offense, but I'm gonna give you something right now. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching it. Okay, Diego's not a passer; he's a runner. Okay, Fearless to your right, 3-by-1, back offset to you, 3rd and 8. What play are you gonna run?
Back offset to the trip side?
To your right-hand side. He's a right-hand quarterback. Feels to your right.
You probably rolling right. Flood concept.
Oh, my God.
Why is the back? Why we got 4 to the strength? It's flood.
Go cut the Bama film on.
Yeah, it's flood, baby. It ain't nothing else. Why is he over there? He's not over there for no other reason. We rolling right. We flood.
Bro, it's laughable, man.
Yeah.
Come on. That's the only pass that they got in triple option. And if they don't have that, they have a tight end on the hip. And this is their special play. They're going to bring that tight end back. And all they're going to run is that shovel pass. It's like you're counting crisscross. Come on, bro.
They do it.
It ain't hard.
Hey, listen. It ain't hard. I'm going to take you with me on the clinic circuit.
You don't have to.
And you can tell these people, let's see if they have success with it, because you make it sound so easy.
I've done it before. It's evidence. I get it to you. I ran the wing T. I used to hate it because I was like follow the guard. I'm like, oh, here we go. And we come out with our special play, counter crisscross.
Hey,
Hey,
I had a
Smoke,
kid
he
run
tell
for.
you he had me running that when I was his coordinator one time, and I listen. It was 3rd and 12, and I said I done ran all my passes. Now what?
Just run. Just run.
137 county crisscross.
Listen, that's it. Run 646 crisscross.
Man,
138 buck. You know. Hey,
Reed, you got to stop that. Well,
yeah,
you don't have to because Bama just got busted up with that. So you're right.
that's
they
all I'm
did.
saying. So listen to this though, right, Kerry? What was you thinking when you was watching Bama?
I was shocked, but again, I think Vanderbilt hadn't gotten enough praise. Like they took Mizzou to overtime the week before. Like they have been playing football really well, and it's not the same Vandy that I think you're accustomed to seeing. Like Vandy has been like to some programs, and some people might say like the Illinois or the Big Ten. You know what I'm saying? Like just not looked at as a high program in the SEC. I see Smoke putting his head down. I know that might not sit well with you, but
No. Listen, Vandy has the worst roster in the SEC.
that's that. So to see them
They're just
go and
disciplined
play
with
Bama
real good
and
coaching.
stand toe to toe and punch them boys in the mouth, like for me, that was something special, man. Like, and I get excited. You know, I love the game of football, bro. I love the game of football, and to see like you pour into them kids and you pour into the work that you do all week long, and to see it come to fruition and to see that clock hit 0, like you know what that means. Like that's the work you put in, and to finally get the W, it's like it was not in vain. It was not for no reason. This worked. Everything y'all said to do, we did, and it worked how you said it. And to watch Vandy go up there and stand toe to toe with the #1 team in the country, who I don't think should have been #1. I think they should have been #2 after they beat Georgia. I think them and Georgia should have just flip flopped because Texas, Texas is real in my opinion. And they doing this with a backup QB, even though he might not be a backup. He is the backup.
Hey, Corey.
He's their backup.
Hey, Kerry, I apologize. Kerry, you remember when you first stepped off in the big city and them cats had them big rope chains?
Yeah.
And they said, bro, I'm going to sell this thing to you for $100. And he said, I'm gonna go grab one. It's called Fool's Gold.
Yeah.
Alabama's Fool's Gold. Okay? I'm a Bama guy. You see the picture behind me. I'm a Bama guy.
Yeah.
You cut me at any point. It's crimson. But other than a quarter of playing against Georgia, where Glenn Schumann and Kirby laid that up to him on a platter and gave him 28 points.
Yep.
Like Bama's played like trash, man. They couldn't stop the run. Just hold up, Reed. Let me get to it. Let me breathe on it. You're making your face up. Let's start in the first game, Western Kentucky. I know we watched them together. Western Kentucky ran the ball on them, and Bama still can't run the ball. So you come back and say, okay, we're going to week 2, South Florida. They ran the ball down Bama's throat when they're doing all that weird taking guys outside at the defensive tackle. You saw seams in that defense, and they gutted them.
Yeah.
If the quarterback was halfway decent and he can throw a live pass, them DBs are beat. What Saban said about their defensive back is real. They're not good enough. Those receivers, I saw it firsthand. If I didn't see it firsthand, I would say ain't good enough. Offensive line is solid. Running backs, like, where they get these dudes from? Not good enough, bro. And then you go to Wisconsin. Wisconsin ran the ball down their throat. They just had timely turnovers, and they had number 4 play outside of his mind. So you come back against Georgia, your quarterback throws for 374, rushes for 120-something, and you still need a miraculous play to win.
In the game.
So when I'm saying fool's goal, that's fool's goal. You up 28 points. Man, listen, man, put the kids to bed. We're going to run the ball down your throat. Close it out. It's over.
Yeah, it should be.
Missed time management, off. Your man, Miles McVay, coming off the sideline, punching the kid, and this kid will never play at Bama. Third-string player, coming over there, punching the guy, and you have to start the game, the second half, kicking off from the 20. Like, when have you ever seen a Nick Saban group start a fight on the sideline, and the guy that hasn't been in the game since he's been here come off the sideline, throw a punch to get a penalty? So when you see that, and I'm a Bama guy, you're sitting like, bro, 10 penalties, 9 penalties, 8 penalties, touchdowns being called back. I see the sideline. Guys' shirts aren't tucked.
Kerry, I know a lot of Bama guys, Smoke being the one I'm the closest with. They have been complaining since the day Nick Saban said he wasn't coming back.
Lie.
As soon as Saban said he wasn't coming back, nothing was going to make these Alabama guys happy. They have been upset.
Hey, Kerry,
I'm talking about
lying.
you drive through the
Listen, I'm
Alabama.
surprised. Smoke, you know he a Saban guy himself, so I'm surprised that he didn't fall over when the news came out. I know your heart was hurting just a little bit to see Nick
Kerry,
Saban leaving.
Kerry, I'm not a Saban guy. I'm not. The
Mm-hmm.
last time I saw Saban, I gave him a donut, 31-0. I'm not a Saban guy. I didn't go to Michigan State. I'm up north. I'm from Silverton, Maryland. I'm not a Saban guy. I'm telling you the truth. Cut the film on and you see him in person, read what you saw from Coach Saban's group. A buttoned up, everybody shirt tucked in, uniform, come out, warm up the same way, dress the same way, play the same way. It ain't that. And you're seeing those results from even the defensive back that got that told his head coach, I ain't coming out the game.
That was crazy.
What
would you say?
Coach, I'm sitting there and my son is asking me like, Dad, that's poor sportsmanship, isn't it? So I'm taking my son to go see Alabama play against Vanderbilt. My son's been to Vanderbilt games, so I worked at Vandy for 2 years. But he's a Bama man. He gets it. And you see a guy that has a C on his chest as the captain grab Diego's face mask and slung it, and the defensive coordinator calls him out. He waves him off. I ain't coming out.
Kick the ball.
Kick the ball. Your teammate comes in to tap you out. You tell him not coming. Then the head coach says, hey, buddy, come on. You wave him off. You got the C on your chest, my boy. That don't fly. We lose with class, we win with class. But when have you ever seen that at Alabama? Just be honest.
I haven't seen that. I was going to ask y'all take on that. As a coach, how would you have handled that situation? Your guy
if I'd have had to call a timeout, I'm calling a timeout. If I got a timeout and I know we at that point in the game, you're coming out the game.
Bro.
Like it ain't, and guess what? And you're not coming to the sideline when you get out the game. See you later. I'll deal with you in a little bit. Like you got to, we'll finish this game. We'll deal with that when we deal with that. Like we not nah.
Coach.
Like, because it's like you said, if I let you do that, then it's a freshman watching you. He a captain. Why won't you ain't gonna do nothing to him? I'm gonna do the same thing.
Coach,
that's not happening in my program. Never.
I've been through that as a player, Carl. In 1999, I saw cats talk reckless to Coach Dubose as a true freshman. We win the SEC championship that year. Busted up Spurrier twice in that year. That's when Spurrier and Florida was rolling. And Alabama coming back on top. When I saw guys disrespect Coach Dubose, I'm saying like, okay, this how this thing going? So now that you try to talk reckless to me in 2000, I'm looking at you like, bro, I already seen what them dudes did to you last year, man. Go on about your business. You can't talk to me. You lost the team. So a team that was ranked in the top 2, we go out to LA and we had a conversation, an interview with Smoke out there, Deshaun Foster. They bust us up because we lack discipline and we lack respect for the coach. Anytime that anyone disrespects the leader of your team and they aren't reprimanded, lack of institutional control, and this thing is done. You ain't telling me as a freshman what to do. I'm telling you going about your business. He already told you get out your face. You ain't do nothing. Ain't no coming back from that. Somebody got to go.
So moving on from Bama Vandy, as soon as Bama lost, everybody started saying, well, Tennessee was the best team in the SEC. Right? And then a couple hours later, now Smoke, you said earlier on another show that you knew that Tennessee was ripe for an upset with Arkansas. What did you see out of Tennessee and what did you see out of Arkansas that made you think that way?
Arkansas has been playing really good defense with T. Will. Shout out to T. Will over there calling a good defense for those Razorbacks. But the way that Arkansas ran the football, and they can run the football, and take away time and possession away from that rhythm, tempo team, the second that you get a tempo team out of whack and playing 2nd and 8 and not playing at the pace that they're going to play, you got it. If you can limit their time of possession by running the football, and now that play call on the sideline is not in rhythm, you have now a chance. And when you're asking a redshirt freshman, Nico, to make all the plays and not running the ball at a high clip, now we got a real shot at winning this thing. And that's what I saw. I saw the way that Arkansas could control the game and Tennessee's inability to control Arkansas' running attack. And they have an explosive quarterback back there that can make off-script plays. You have a chance every single week. And that's the only chance I thought that Arkansas had against Tennessee. And it played out.
I think where a lot of people get it confused too is you got Bobby Petrino over there calling offense, and you got Sam Pittman, who's arguably the best offensive line coach in college in our generation. And so they know how to coach. They know how to generate rushing yards. They know how to protect the passer. Like, you can mess around and go up against some old school veteran coaches like that. And if you're not ready to go, they can put some pressure on you. And shout out to T. Will. You know, Doc hit me earlier, Smoke. He say T. Will like a son to him. What he's doing on defense right now, I mean, he got it going on a high level. He's got to be in some conversations for head coaching jobs soon.
No doubt about it. And Oklahoma showed the United States the recipe of slowing down that offense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make Nico feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Get that offense from playing. If those tempo teams that Lane Kiffin's a part of and Heupel's a part of, you can't allow them to have explosive plays, because once they get that first down, now they're going. The first play is incomplete. You get them playing 2nd and 8, and now they're playing on your schedule. Now you can call the proper defense against what they want. But when they're going so fast, you don't have an opportunity. You just got to go with just whatever your base defense is, and they got you. They're playing on your court, and you're now gassed. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Other thing that happens, if you're able to slow down an offense like that, their defense is going to be gassed, because you'll be 3 and out in 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And that defense back on the field, you're like, damn, I just sat down.
And no time for adjustments.
You don't have no time to adjust. You don't have no time to rest. So anytime you get a up-tempo offense and can figure out how to eliminate them big plays and eliminate that rhythm, and you start shutting them down and sending them 3 and out, maybe they get 5 plays in the series and they out of there. That defense is looking at that offense down there like, damn, we ain't got nothing. We can't. I just got some water, and it's time to get back out there. So now your complementary offense and defense ain't working how it normally do, and it becomes a little bit frustrating for both sides.
Right, and that's all that happened. You just got to get them off. Yep. Once you get them off rhythm, you got a shot. But if they clicking, oh yeah, long day for you, buddy.
So let's go, Kerry. Let's jump into the Big Ten. You a Big Ten guy through and through, and it's weird to say this is a Big Ten game, but USC, Minnesota. Minnesota knocks.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the Big Ten. What did you think of that game?
I was surprised by that. I mean, I know USC it is weird to talk about USC and Washington. Washington got a big win against Michigan as well. Like, to see those teams playing in the Big Ten is abnormal for me. It's strange for me. Like, but PJ Fleck rowed a boat. They were able to come out with a big win against USC. And I think the thing I want to continue to watch, man, as the weather starts to change, as the temperature starts to drop, when UCLA got to travel, like Washington had to go all the way to Rutgers 2 weeks ago, and they took an L. Like, you got to fly all the way across the country to play in a game. And I just want to see, as we go further along, like, once this temperature starts to drop and we get to playing Big Ten football, and it's cold and it's rainy and it's snowy, and how do those teams, how do they fare? Like, how do they fare in that environment? Because it's a culture shock. Like, if you ain't from that area, like, I had teammates from Florida that when it snowed, bro, they was like 6 a.m. workout. Psst,
I ain't doing it. Yeah.
I ain't gonna be able to make that, dog. Hey, this is not optional. You got I see you when I see you. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see how that was. That was a big win for Minnesota. I'm excited about the number 2 versus the number 3 team, Oregon versus Ohio State this weekend. At Oregon, I'm excited about. That's a huge game for the Big Ten, and that's the stuff I think excites me about, that merge with some of them Pac-12 teams is just you get games like that, and those are not games you get in the red. Those are bowl games in years past. Now you get that game in October and it means something. Like, this is to see who gonna be in the championship game, how we position ourselves, pole position to be in this championship game and to be in this college football playoff. So I'm excited about the Pac-12 and the Big Ten merge. I think it's really dope.
Kerry, you know, one of the disadvantages and one of the advantages for the old school Big Ten schools, you knew when you went into Big Ten ball, the physical play that's going to happen week to week.
Yeah.
Most of those Pac-10 teams, they might have one game that you got to get ready for. And you say, oh, yeah, let's go. It's a physical game. No, you got Michigan. Okay, now you got Minnesota. Now you got Penn State. All those games, you're going to have to get
Wisconsin. They're going to rep 350-pound linemen.
Oh, that's old. Luke Fickell done changed that. Now he got these dudes playing 10 personnel and all that.
I don't like it. I don't
Wisconsin. Like it. And what y'all doing up there in Illinois.
Yeah.
I told you before we got on, guys like you were coming back.
Mm-hmm.
The fullback, the ace back, playing 12 personnel. Some of these young coordinators that was hyped up on iPad and drawing up exotic defenses, now it's time to go back and fit 12, 21, 2 back offense.
And guys don't know how to fit 12 and 21.
Heck no, man.
They can't have sound, buddy.
Yeah.
You saw what Michigan did to SC.
Yep.
And running, everyone wants to talk about when you run the football, you got to get explosive plays. No, I run the football to break your will and control the clock. I'm okay with getting 3, 2, 5, 7, 15, 20. And you over there on the sideline, like, man, coach, Kerry just keep coming and he just keep hitting me in my face. You're like, yeah, how about your shoulder pad?
Yeah.
Man, my shoulder start hurting. By the fourth quarter, he looking over there. You looking him dead in the face like, okay, lead coming. Again. And he's like, he looking to the side like, coach, won't you call this the whammo gammo? No, we just got to line up in overfront. And you got to come down the hill, Mike, linebacker, Big Ten Mike, and fit this up. And the back, you got to come over the top and smack you.
Yep.
These young kids that's 6 foot, 195, they don't want to put no neck roll on and come on downhill and take on the 220-pound running back.
I tell people running the ball, man, eventually in every game where you watch a team that runs the ball really well, you can watch the defense when they break. It's a point in that game. Sometimes it's in the third quarter. Sometimes it's late in the third quarter. Sometimes it's early in the fourth quarter. It'll be, like you said, 5, 8, 3, 12, 25. And then by that time when they're ready to break, 50-yard run. And they done.
They done.
Over. It's a wrap. They cannot sustain anymore. They have given everything they got, and it's nothing left. And that's what running the ball take your soul from you.
Take your soul. And then the most important part, and I tell people, once we get into the red zone, now broke and your wheel is gone. That end zone looks so pretty. and it for the offense that's been running the ball, it's gold.
Yeah.
As a defender, you're looking like, man, you got to do this thing again. And I'm not gonna spread you out. I'm gonna line up 22 personnel and I'm gonna run a G scheme right at you coming downhill. And you better fit this thing up because the running back might stay tight and hit that B gap and run you over again for 3 yards. But now it's 2nd and goal at the 7. And I'm going to get 3 more. And then you're going to look behind you and say, yep, I'll see you in the end zone. And you just boom. And then the game's over. And you're winning 24-14. But that 10-point lead is really like a 30-point blowout because you come out of there with ice pack, like guys only have ice pack on the back of their necks no more when they come out of there. You know what I mean? Like you got to put the ice pack on the back and that thing hurt.
If everybody knows, like, so from this perspective, Smoke and Kerry both, there's more really good running backs than there are good quarterbacks. So
Absolutely.
So why does everybody want to throw the ball so much? Why does everybody so intent on playing a style that you got to have a certain type of guy when I'm pretty sure that it's easier for you as a franchise or a college team, especially a high school team, to have better running back play probably than you have quarterback play?
Well, if you look at it, Reed, just ask yourself, when was the last time that a spread offense won the national championship?
Spurrier, baby?
Spurrier, yeah. Steve Spurrier.
And that's back 96, 97, 96.
And he still had Fred Taylor.
And he,
So
there you go.
He still did
And
have
he
Fred.
still ran the ball. Like,
Yeah,
he still ran the football.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's a sexy look for teams to play that way. But that way never truly came through with a natty or that jewelry at the end of the year. And the quarterback play is very important because the running game is going to control the game. But you still need explosive passing to now put points on the board once you get everybody starts coming. So I get what you're saying. And the way that everybody wants to play of open and throw the ball 50-something times, there's too many things that can happen to the ball when you put it up in the air 50 times. You're asking young people to pass block for 50 times and not mess one up or get a bad communication where you have a free hit on the quarterback and the ball's out. I think it's easier for what you just said to get 5 guys to come off at one, run the ball, break your will, play action pass or whatever RPO set that you want to now set up for the explosive plays. So it's a combination of both. You can't have one without the other. And I think they're both very important in order for you to win at a high level.
So, I got you both on here, all right, and this is going to be the thing the topic I want to close out. Smoke, you and I were having a discussion on the phone. We talk like 10 times a day. We were talking about recruiting, evaluation. Kerry, you and I just had a conversation yesterday about recruiting evaluation. I was a high school coach. I had a lot of guys that went to the next level. You guys have a different respect. Now, I played FCS football in college, but you guys played in the SEC and the Big Ten, the 2 premier conferences, and you both went on to make it into the National Football League. So we got a lot of parents, a lot of players who watch this. We got over 900 people watching live right now. If you got any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat as we get into this conversation about recruiting and evaluation. I personally get over 1,500 DMs a week from parents and players. They want you to watch their tape. They want you to help them get in school. They want you to get exposure. And so my thing, what I did from a high school coaching standpoint is I always made my kids go to camp. And not only did I make them go to camp, I made them compete at camp. I made them go to camp and actually work out, actually participate in all the drills, actually run 40s. And if there was ever a situation, Smoke and Carry, where I was telling the kid to not run the 40, right? It was going to be more or less because I knew he wasn't going to run well. I knew he wasn't fast enough, so to speak. We were probably hiding something about his speed. So, Smoke, you've also been a front office guy, both the National Football League and in the Big Ten and the SEC. I want to start the conversation with you, right? Because these guys are getting trained by trainers. They got high school coaches. If a guy comes to camp and he doesn't run the 40, or he won't run the shuttle, or he won't compete in drills, what is he saying to you?
Yeah. One, I'm not fast. I'm not quick enough. I'm not willing to compete. Simple as that. Nothing else. Fast people run. Reed, I'm 44 today. And I told you earlier, if somebody raps too much and start woofing and they want to race and they might, man, drop it, let's go. I have never once been anywhere where there's a bunch of fast guys that you ask us to run that we're not doing. This is what I do. I run fast. Right. I told you, I know you can lift. Anybody have a 225 competition? Reed, you jumping on it, but if you're not strong, you ain't doing it.
So I'm jumping on it right now today.
Right. So if your trainer is telling you not to run, and there's any front office, general manager, DPP that's listening to that and saying that, yeah, you don't got to run, you're taking a player that you don't have verified speed on into your school if you're a skilled player, and you're going to find out later on that they can't run. Shame on you.
Yeah.
But if I'm recruiting you and I'm giving my okay on you and the green light on you to my head coach, I have verified hands, height, weight, and you're a skilled player, you better run. If you don't run, I don't want you. And I don't care what star you are. I can't put my name on you unless I can say, yeah, you know what, coach? He the real deal, and he can boogie and he can run. Fast guys run. And at every level, Kerry, you and I both know, you're going to have to get on that clock.
No
In
question.
high school, college, in the league, you're gonna have to run.
At some point,
At
you're
some
gonna have
point,
to
so
show
don't.
that you're gonna have to show it.
Yeah,
Don't know. Nobody cares what you say. Let me see it. Let me see
yeah,
what you were able to do. I don't care how fast you tell me you are, unless they got verified times for some track meets or like like you got track times. They'll probably say, you know what, coach, I'm sore, whatever. But you got a 10-5 on 10-4 on your track. You know what? Okay.
yeah,
And it's laser. Yeah, you
yeah,
good. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
But if you're not running, if they don't got no verified time, they do not care
No
because
bueno.
it's too many kids that are available.
Yeah.
And I think one thing parents have to really understand is you look at your child, the apple of your eye. He is the best thing you've ever seen. And to some coaches, they see 15 of them a day.
Yeah.
Like he's the
Put
best
about
one you've
1,500 of
seen.
them.
So in order to separate yourself, like you said, you got to take care of your school. You got to be a dog, man. Like at the end of the day, I don't care how are you. When I cut on the film, I shouldn't even have to know which one you are. I should be able to see it just by looking at the film. I should be able to watch an entire game and tell you from everybody else. Not no huddle highlight where you went and selected the best plays you had. You had 3 fumbles in that game, but you broke an 80-yarder. So you gonna highlight that one.
Right.
I want to see an entire game and know, he a dog.
Right.
He ain't taking no plays off. He got speed, he got power, he got quickness. He do everything at his position that it requires, and I don't have no questions about him.
Yeah. And the fact of coming to camp and competing, Reed, I was a camp kid when I was a player. If you had a camp, I did my homework and I looked at, okay, so Kerry gonna be there. He the number 1 receiver. Yeah, I want him. And I counted you in the line. Like, okay, yeah, I want him, coach.
You want to compete?
Yeah, I want to. So when I
It ain't
walked out of
ducking and
there,
dodging.
yeah, I want every coach on that staff to say, yo, you know what? Smoke was that one. But a lot of these kids are running away from that. And I can tell, like, I'm one of the ones that you can't pull that on. Oh, yeah, coach, my trainer said not to run. Well, you tell your trainer he can go somewhere else, too.
Let's touch on that real quick.
Go ahead.
Because a lot of kids have that. Kids are still kids. They have adults over them. They have high school coaches. They have trainers. They have psychologists. They got NIL agents. What do you say to a kid who's telling you, the adult that I feel like is responsible for me is telling me that I can't run at this camp? What's your advice to that kid on how to handle that?
You want to go first, Kerry? You want me to jump on?
I would tell you to get faster because clearly you're hiding something. Clearly you're unsure of something that you're unable to do. So I would tell you, I would tell you don't run if you're going to run a 4.9 and you're a receiver. He telling you right. But what are you doing in the meantime to knock that 4.9 down? Because if you're going to run a 4.9, you're doing just as much damage as not running. So I don't disagree that your trainer is telling you that. You probably shouldn't have went to that camp if the coaches are telling you, hey, I need to see you run.
Right.
Coach, I ain't got no ride. Whatever it is, I can't get there because I can't run. And I know I can't run. Listen, and this happens at all levels. At all levels. When I played in Tampa, I was on the practice squad. I tore my shoulder, my labrum, the last game in Atlanta in the preseason.
Yep.
Tampa signed me. I couldn't get the bar off my chest. But guess what? I couldn't do nothing but practice. Had to practice.
Better practice too.
I knew. So you got to go through. You gotta deal with some things. And if you can't run, you better be figuring out a way to get faster every single day. To get faster, so that when the time does come, you will run. Because you ain't nobody gonna take you with unverified, like you said, with unverified speed. Nah. It's too many people with they actually have clocks and times on that they can trust and verify that person can roll for you to just say, oh yeah, I run a 4.4.
Yeah. Read what I tell kids, if your trainer and you're a skilled player told you not to run, I would say go fire that trainer, because his job is to make sure that you can run faster, jump higher, and be explosive in all these drills. So why do you have a trainer? You're 15 years old. Why are you worried about the reps that you're going to take? Bro, just get out and run. And it's real simple. Word to the wise. I'm gonna make it real easy for you. If you can't run, you don't run. You say, man, coach, my hammy. Like, come on, bro. If I'm 4'4" with a hammy, I'm running 4'5". But if I can't run, you're gonna make every single excuse. So fire that trainer. If your high school coach is telling you don't run, he's screwing you over your opportunity to get a true scholarship. Because most guys, if they're worth a darn at the decision-making level at Division 1A, are taking guys that don't have verified size, verified speed. You are putting yourself and your university in jeopardy because you might just be getting the daggone lemon and think you're getting something sweet.
So, from a recruiting standpoint, how important is it for people to have to see you perform in person? We looked at the tape, we evaluated. I know you got to measure the hands, we got to measure width. We got to get the measurements. We got to make sure all of that is accurate. How important is it for you to lay eyes on a person? Because I get so many kids and parents that have called me or they DM me and they say, well, I got 8 offers, but now nobody will let me commit, right? And I try to sit down, Smoke and Carry, and explain to them all the time, well, you didn't go perform in camp. They didn't really get to see you in person. When they give you that initial offer, most of the time it's off the tape. But Smoke, could you really take a guy if you didn't see the kid in person and able to really put your hands and measurements on them?
No, I either got to see you in the game, I got to see you in the camp setting. Right. Reed, let me ask you a question. And I know you got a boatload of money. Have you ever bought a house that you never walked through?
No.
Have you ever bought a car that you never drove?
No, I just bought a car the other day, and I had to go. I had to go
for a test drive, didn't you?
Yeah, I had to go take it for a test drive.
So if I'm investing $250,000 to $300,000 into you as a player, like at what point can I get a test ride or can I get a walkthrough in the house and get inspection on that house to make sure that everything's right? I got to. So if you're not willing to come show me who you are, or I can't pull up on you to watch a game, I want to coach you as well too before I get my hands on you. I want to see how you are in a competitive environment when you are not at your best or when you have some type of adversity to run upon you. I got to see it. Because if I don't see it, it's hard for me to walk away. And I know guys will say, well, you can't get no 5-star to come work. Listen, Nick Saban has never taken a quarterback that's never thrown for him in person. Nick Saban ain't never taken no receiver or skill player that's never ran for him. So if Nick ain't doing it and the best schools aren't doing it, why in the world am I going to take a guy if I'm at another school? Yeah. Like the proof's in the pudding. No one's ever drafted a player in the league and never seen him work out. So how dare these young kids come out and say that, man, I ain't doing it. Professionals are doing it.
Well, here's the thing too that kids don't understand and their parents don't understand. That camp process is not just for the coach to evaluate the player. It's also to see if you like the way that guy coaches you.
There you go.
Yeah. You should be trying to see, hey, did he give you any game that made you a better player? Did you like the way he taught you? Were you guys able to communicate? You might find out when you work out for him that you don't like him either, right?
Right.
And so that's why we end up having so many transfer portal situations because people aren't really trying to know each other. You're trying to get a scholarship for nothing. On some end, the coach is trying to recruit for nothing, and there's no really courting or bonding experience that's
real connection.
No real connection. And now you got a kid in camp and he's not good enough, or he's not tough enough, or he doesn't, or he lacks the things that you know he needs to be successful. Then you might find out the kid really doesn't want to play the way that you might have thought he wanted to play. Now the kid doesn't like the coach. He's not my kind of guy. He's not my kind of dude. I don't like the way he communicated. A one-day camp really could have solved a lot of that.
Yeah.
Ego gets involved because guys are like, and it comes from high school coaches. Like I was a high school coach. If you want my guy, you better take my guy. And you put them in a situation, and then they don't like each other. I would tell college coaches all the time. I got to the point, guys, where so many college coaches were calling me. I said, you don't got to recruit me. I'm not the guy that's going to be there playing. You don't have to call me at all. You can stop calling me. You can call, but you got to call this kid. You're going to be coaching him. You're not going to be coaching me, right?
Right.
So the relationship that you were trying to get built between the player and the coach, that camp process, I feel like was just huge to that.
Kerry, in 98 degrees or 100 degrees in the summertime, being hot outside separates some of us, don't
Boy, it changed your life.
it?
Yeah.
so
Let's
I
tell
have
you
an
something.
Go ahead.
That and 6 a.m. workouts. And when it's snow on the ground. Like
Yeah.
it's 5 a.m. when you getting up and when you walking across or driving over there. And it's 30 degrees or it's 20 degrees or it's 10 degrees. Do you really love football? Because you about to go work out for an hour and a half.
Right.
Do you really want to do that? Because everybody say they do, but when the rubber meet the road, everybody don't really want to do that.
So if a kid's in camp and I'm asking you, like, it's hot out there, we got to do one more drill, or I'm gonna put you in the worst situation I possibly can, just to test you, your mental will, to see how far you want to take this. Dog, give me one more rep. Like, coach, man, I know right now I'm taking a note. Not willing to do anything to win, and I know that. So if it comes down to you and another kid and everything's even, I can say, you know what? I can lean on that kid more because he came to camp, he performed, I worked with him, he's coachable. And the word is coachable. I don't know that you're a coach and not coachable if I don't coach you hard or teach you something new and you have to apply it. Now I understand how well you can learn.
I think the thing I've learned just playing ball, watching ball, being around it so long, like the best players are the ones that work the hardest.
Yeah.
Like they real life, like they are. Why he work harder than you? It's not a mystery. It's not a mistake. It's not. Well, how did he be? Because he's talented and he work his butt off, man. Like God gave him something that none of us could give him.
Right.
But he also got a work ethic that outmatches all of y'all.
Right.
So that's why the people that are extremely talented and have the most success usually are the ones that work the hardest. Like if you have aspirations of playing in the NFL, I don't care how you think you're going to get there. I don't care if you're a first round draft. I've seen first round draft picks, second round draft picks. I've seen second round draft pick wash out in a couple of years. First round in 4 or 5 years. I've seen undrafted guys play 10, 12 years. It ain't how you get there. It's what you do when you do get there. What is your mindset? What is your work ethic? And that's the same for if you a walk-on in college, if you are a 5-star, however you got there, how are you going to stay there? Because how you get there ain't necessarily, that's not the end of the story. You got to work, man. And I think a lot of kids, like you said, just this mindset, I'm going to be rich and famous. Well, how?
How? Where's the work at?
What are you going to do to get there? Ain't nobody dropping $50,000 off, $100,000 off in your hand just because you. Like, you got to put in work, man, and grind yourself to the point where to the point of exhaustion. And then guess what? You get to get up and do it again tomorrow. That's your reward.
And enjoy it. Kerry, I know when you played in the league, you saw guys do things in practice that you like, yo. And they did it in practice. So when they did it in the game, you're like, yeah,
wasn't no big deal.
Normal behavior, man. I seen Drew Bledsoe when I was above the ball ain't touched the ground.
Yeah.
Peerless Price and Eric Moore, the ball ain't touched the ground. So when they get in the game and they doing things, you're like, are you surprised? Like, no, bro, they do something crazy in practice.
Right.
But some of these dudes don't want to go and put that work in to understand that's what it is. They think going with a trainer and doing every single drill moves me. Yeah, I'm an old school real evaluator. I hear better with my eyes. I see better with my eyes, and I get everything else from looking and hearing everything else.
Last part I'm gonna talk about on this. Can a parent cost their kid a scholarship? Can parents rule recruiting?
1,000.
Yes.
1,000%.
I just had a coach tell me that this summer. He said, man, there's a kid we love, man, and the way his mom and dad acted when they were up here, there's no way in the world we would sign that kid. Literally, won't do it because they aren't only evaluating you as a player, they're evaluating your where you come from. How are your parents? Because If you act like this now and you're not even signed or committed, how are you going to act when your kid is facing adversity? When he not getting the playing time, or he not getting the ball, or he not, the star quarterback, whatever the case may be, how are you going to respond? I already see, I got a glimpse of it. So I'm not going to even waste my time with you. So yes, it happens often.
And the crazy thing is Kerry, I had to sit I was at the Vanderbilt game this weekend, and I sat in the section where one of the players from Vanderbilt family was sitting at. Probably the wrong thing for that event to happen, because that family made a complete fool out of the kid on the field. I probably won't go to another game, and if I have to sit there behind those people, like Bear got tossed on my kids because you're celebrating, bro.
Right.
Like your family members almost got kicked out of the game repeatedly. Yeah. And the worst thing is, one of the NFL and UFL execs called me Sunday morning, good friend. They said, man, I know you was at the game. Tell me about this particular player. I said, I wouldn't touch him. So yes, you can cause.
Yeah.
Just by the way that your family acts. Your mother or father can cause you an opportunity to get a scholarship just because your dad just wears everybody out. And there's somebody else on the board that's close. Everything even, and you wear my coaches out, like we don't have that much time to sit there and be bothered with you unless you're a difference maker. And once you become that, once I can replace you, yeah, I'm going to replace you and be bothered with you anymore. So yeah, you can cost your kid 100. Like, just stay out of the way.
And let me tell you one. Let me say this one last thing, because I had a coach tell me this, and it was so profound. And this resonates for every level. And this was my guy. He loved me. I love him. He said, "Man, our job as coaches is to tolerate you till we can replace you." He loved me. This is my dog.
Yeah.
He loved me. He said, yeah, my job is to tolerate you till I can replace you.
That's it.
I got to find somebody better than you. and guess what? Your job is to not let me find nobody better than you. That's the cat and mouse game all day long. I'm trying to find somebody better than you, and you better not let me find nobody better than you. That's all it is.
And the craziest thing, it's not that hard to work hard, be a good person, stay out the way, surface when needed, play when you have to, make the plays that come to you, and you'll be perfectly fine. And that's not saying it's going to give you an opportunity to go to NFL, but you can be a good college player. And if you add everything in and you end up in the right place at the right time, Kerry, right? You first rounder, second rounder, you apply those skills at every single level, do your work, stay out of the way. They don't have to worry about you. Stay off of every single list and play hard. You have opportunity, because if I don't got to worry about you and you're making plays, I'm good.
For a while.
Yeah, you'll be there for a long time.
This is a parent question. Last one, then we're going to get out. Smoke, I'm going to start this with you.
Yeah.
What's your best advice for a kid who wants to go in the transfer portal?
Have somewhere to go before you get in. You don't want to get in the transfer portal with nowhere to go, because now you're in la-la land stuck. Have a place that's going to accept you. It's already worked out. You get in the portal so you can make a transition. The portal ain't made for you to go in and get re-recruited. The portal is a place where you get placed and you go. If you're in there more than one day, good luck, because people keep on getting in. Don't get in unless you know exactly where you want to go. Be wanted before you leave.
I'll second that, because I had a young man that I know at a university, wanted to jump in the transfer portal, jumped in the portal, didn't get signed, went back to class, second semester. Mom got a bill because mom didn't know, nor did he know, you're no longer on scholarship. That scholarship was removed when you went to the transfer portal.
There you go.
Mom almost had a heart attack getting that bill.
40 grand, 40 band showed up.
What's this? Yeah, your son made an adult decision without having a plan. And so have a plan, have a plan in place of how you want to go about this, because you're making a grown decision that will impact your life. Before you go, know what you got to do and know where you're going to have an idea of what's going on.
There you go.
So what I'm going to tell you young people is this: if your dad is Kerry Davis or Smoke Dixon, you can go in the portal because they have the 40 grand a year to pay for your tuition. Right?
I ain't gonna get to you if
Hey,
you make that
hey,
bad
they
decision.
You do
they
that
have
on your own. You by yourself,
Hey.
dog.
they definitely have it. But what I will say is this: most of the time, kids that want to go in the portal shouldn't go, right?
Yeah.
Because typically we talking about a playing time situation, a who you like situation. One of the biggest misconceptions in life is that you have to like the people that you work with, work for, and are teammates with. And you don't. You don't have to like each other. You don't have to be friends to win, but don't run away from what you're trying to do to be successful. You're going to get cussed out by your college coach. He's
Yep.
going to do some things you don't like. And if you want to play, you're going to have to compete and go through a process. Most guys don't play as true freshmen. There's only a handful of guys that are going to play their first year. And so most guys, as soon as they don't play or they're at number two, they don't like it anymore. Now you looking to run. Well, whatever you couldn't do, if you wasn't a great route runner, if you weren't great in run blocking, if you were a good pass rusher, but you couldn't stop the run, every deficiency that you have in your game is going to follow you to your next location. And you probably won't be able to play there either unless you can fix it. Now, those guys who are playing great ball and they leaving because they can get millions of dollars other places, that's a small group of guys. We're not talking to those guys, right?
Right.
Out of the 4,000 guys that are going to go in the transfer portal this year, we're talking to 3,900 of you, right?
Mhm.
Your situation is going to be completely different from the situation of the other 100 guys who can really up their value in those situations. And the last thing I'm going to say, then we're going to get out of here, is just because your coach leaves, I mean, head coach, coordinator, or your position coach or the guy that recruited you, doesn't mean for you to get emotional and immediately go get into the transfer portal. Do not give up your scholarship. Do not give up your housing. Make sure that you talk to somebody. Talk to your parents. If your parents don't understand, there's some high school coach in your area that is used to dealing with issues like this. There's some trainer. There's somebody there who can give you some advice. And if you don't have anybody to call, man, you can call me. Listen, and I mean that. I really respond if you're going through a real issue. I don't care where you're from in the country or what's going on. Guys, that's going to be it for us Monday night. You here with two legends, right? And Carl Reed. Okay. And we'll see you next week. Keep working.